Now it's time to talk everything basketball. The NBA Conference Final is starting today and will showcase a new generation of stars as Boston Celtics, they take on Indiana Pacers in the East, and Dallas Mavericks will clash with Minnesota Timberwolves with a surprise package in the West. Top-seeded Boston, they mostly quoted a 4-1 first-round series win over the Miami Heat that played without a Jimmy Butler and the player who had tormented and broken the heart of Celtics in Game 7 of the last season's conference final. The Pacers needed just 6 games to earn a first-round win over Milwaukee Bucks, a Milwaukee Bucks that is missing a player like Giannis Adetola. They then outclassed New York Knicks team that was leading the series at 3-2 before tipping over a rush of injuries that included star Jalen Brunson breaking his hand. The Pacers lopsided Game 7 victory. Meanwhile, in the span of 22 minutes, the Denver Nuggets' quest to repeat as champions disintegrated in stunning fashion. Now, the Nuggets blew a 20-point third-quarter lead in their home floor to lose 98-90 in the Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinal. The way they lost, squandering a 58-38 lead from a 10-50 mark in the third quarter, left the reigning champions shell-shocked, and incredibly, they were frustrated. It was the largest blown lead in a Game 7 in the past 25 years, I beg your pardon. They are all here, the 4 teams, and beginning with Game 1 today, that's tonight, Boston. It is now the NBA Final, or you bust for both. That is where we are right now, and joining us to make sense or analyze what the options will be would be a basketball commentator, head of sports UNILAG Radio, Faruk Adetola. Thank you so much, Faruk, for joining me on the show today.
Good to be here with you on the show, and definitely when we're talking basketball, the excitement is always there.
All right, it's great to have you on the show. This is the 5th straight year. Defending champions, they failed to reach the conference finals. Did you expect that the Indiana Pacers, Dallas Mavericks, and Minnesota Timberwolves would be one of the 3 or the 3 in the last 4 teams standing in this season's NBA?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't see this coming, despite the fact that we've not had defending champion for the 6 consecutive years to cross the semi-final hurdle. The Denver Nuggets never looked like a team that's going to capitulate, in the semi-final against an inexperienced Minnesota side. But it has happened again, and definitely it shows that a lot of teams are coming up the ranks. A lot of players are standing up to be counted, and definitely a lot of players are even hungry, to go for the holy grail of the NBA, because this is why these players have played in 2 games all through the season. This is why they have been training all through the season. They had in-game tournaments won by the Lakers, and definitely this is why, and this is what most of these players read about while very young. For me, I didn't see this coming that 3 teams other than Boston Celtics will be there. I thought we'll see the likes of Boston Celtics in the final, Milwaukee Bucks, Denver Nuggets, and perhaps Minnesota also, a team that is an elite and a team of very good star cast, to also just for the title. It's down to 4 from 16, and I think that every team right about now can smell the title. The only question is that have they got the desire to go all the way?
Okay, let's wait to see how they can go all the way. Faruk, if you're still here with me, can I hear you acknowledge? Hello, Faruk, are you here with me?
Of course, I'm here with you. I can hear you. I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I know that you're very excited to talk basketball right now, but I'll need you to relax a bit. I need to see you and not have you. I need you to move backwards a bit. Yeah, thank you. Move backward a bit so I see you clearly. Great. Now let's have this conversation going on. Right, of course, I did say that it's a big surprise, and I know it's a big surprise for you, too, to see these 3 teams making the Final 4 in the NBA. But what has been the most surprising thing about this second round?
I think the most surprising thing is that we have teams, about 3 teams, that you didn't expect to get all this way. The likes of Dallas Mavericks, Timberwolves, who got the best also from the East, playing against a team that is very short-handed in the New York Knicks, and they capitalize on that. You have to play those in front of you, and that's the deal about the NBA. And I'm so excited to see three teams that are trying to, make history, make a name for themselves, other than the household name in Boston Celtics, who last won the title in 2007. Although they are a proper team as far as the NBA is concerned, but you can never say never as far as the NBA is concerned this year. They have shown that a lot of teams have rose to the occasion. A lot of teams are trying to also stand to be counted, and players are very hungry now. Gone were those days when the old names like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard will define what will happen in the NBA. But now younger players like Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Haliburton are trying as much as possible to say, yes, let the old guard go and sleep. New guards can also give us what we need to say in the world of NBA. And that's what we are seeing exactly in this semi-final conference. But all said and done, we are back to the conference final, and just two teams will making it down the way to the main issue of the NBA this season.
All right, let's talk about the Timberwolves. They overcame a 20-point deficit in Game 7 against the Nuggets. They finished with 60-32 run. While it is the biggest comeback, I know, in Game 7, it is not the biggest postseason history. Do you agree with me?
Of course, completely agree with you. And I can say that once again. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, from the word go, they showed that they can win anywhere where they are playing. And they won 2 games, the first 2 games of that series, right there at the Ball Arena. And it was a shock to so many people. A team that have not lost at home in the playoff for a long time. And you beat them twice on the road. And one thing about this team is that when they lost 3 on the bounce, the leader of that team, talking about Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, said to whoever cares to listen, saying we'll be back again at the Ball Arena for Game 7. And they won convincingly in Game 6 to take it to winner takes all in Game 7. And in spite of them being 15 points behind at halftime, 20 points behind at the point in the third quarter, they never wavered, never lost confidence. Because if you have done it before, you can always do it again. And Game 7 is always very, very tricky. Over 55%, or I think 75% of the home team have always crossed to the final. But unfortunately, the never knew games were exhausted. They lacked idea. They only relied so much on the brilliance of the MVP of the season, talking about Nikola Jokic, and his brilliance could not take them to the final, in spite of him scoring over 29 points in that game. But Anthony Edwards and his star cast were fantastic on the day, and they showed why they have been one of the teams most talked about. And in fact, they finished third in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And that shows that the gap between them and Denver wasn't too visible. And that's why the likes of Karl Anthony Towns, as well as Mike Conley, not forgetting one of the best defenders in the league, Hugo Gobert, were fantastic and ensured they wiped out that deficit in 20 points, and they even won by an extra 8, showing that they were dominant in the second, and third, and fourth quarter.
Great one to see. But I was a bit surprised that a team that parades, the defending champion first, and they parade the reigning MVP could not just turn up on Game 7. Did that come as a surprise to you too?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked, to be honest, because when you look at the way and manner Denver, defeated their first-round opponent in the Lakers, you say, yes, these guys have learned, have also built on what they achieved last year. And you don't really see a defending champion lose a game on home court in front of their home crowd, where they get all the energy they desire to win a basketball game. But unfortunately, Denver Nuggets were fantastic. But the record, the undesirable record for defending champion for the last 5 seasons, struck again. Always losing out in the semi-final. And when it happened, a lot of people were able to put 1 or 2 together to give us 2 to say that, the cost of defending champion that have been there for the last 5 years or 6 thereabouts.
Faruk, for me to butt in here right now, I beg your pardon, for me to butt in here, at seeing that graphics over there, you could see the numbers that Nikola Jokic did post. Now, I'm sure that's well-deserved for him to be the MVP, but he could not just turn up for the Denver Nuggets against Minnesota Timberwolves.
You know why the bottle is? When you have 6 players averaging in double figures in the Wolves team, then you know that they can always score from every area. Unlike the Wolves, unlike the Denver Nuggets, who defended so much on the brilliance of Nikola Jokic, the Joker, it wasn't just enough for them. Jamal Murray has not been the Jamal Murray we saw last season. Has puffed up and puffed, come up clutch in 1 or 2 games, but you need your second best player in that team to also do what Robin would do what Robin would do to Batman. But unfortunately, he was unable to stay close to him. It was all about Nikola Jokic, and one man cannot lead you to the title in the NBA. It has been like that for a long time. You always need that second swing man that will assist you, just like when Jordan was here at Chicago Bulls. Pippen was there helping him. You can also talk about Shaq and Kobe. You can talk about LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. You can talk about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson back then when they were dominating. So you always need that second guy that always steps to be counted when every chips are down. Fortunately, they rely so much on the brilliance of Nikola Jokic, and in spite of him scoring points and plenty, averaging a number of assists, even rebounds as well, it wasn't just enough for a team that had 6 players in double figures. And that is why the Minnesota Timberwolves have gotten to the conference final for the first time since 2004. That's a long time, and it's well deserved, if you ask me.
All right, so let's talk about the Celtics right now. Of course, they are in the conference finals for the 6th time in 8 years. And they are #1 in the power rankings. Of course, what do you expect?
Absolutely.
Did they have the easiest path?
Yeah, they have had this all through the playoffs. Though they've only played 10 games, the least amount of games this postseason. And they've had enough rest. But that rest can come at a cost because the players might be lethargic, might be rusty, not having enough game time. I'm very sure they're focused on the objective. Yes, the Boston Celtics have been very close for the last 80 years. They've relied so much on the brilliance of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, the experience of Al Horford, and so many other players like Derek White, who's also averaging 18.2 games per game. But having said that, they also have a joint number of record wins alongside the Lakers as the most successful side in the NBA. They have won this title 16 times. The last time they won it was in 2008 when they defeated the LA Lakers, in a game of 7 when they had the likes of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Rashid Wallace, Ben Wallace, and the likes. But this time around, they have players that have experienced the postseason time and time again, but always fall short to the brilliance of the other team. But I feel that this is their best part, their best ever part to win this title this year. The first round was 4-1 over their opponent. The second round as well, too, was also 4-1 against Cleveland Cavaliers. And now they don't have any excuse whatsoever for them not to get to the final of the NBA. Despite playing against a team that played the 7th series in Indiana Pacers have been tagged the luckiest team this postseason because they played against a short-handed New York Knicks who had all of the players, out injured. But having said that, it's not about who is injured, who's not playing. It's about what you bring to the court on game day. And that is very, very key. We have seen that the Indiana Pacers, they've got players that are experienced. Pascal Siakam is the leader of that team, scoring 21 points and also averaging 7.5 rebounds. He has experience with the Toronto Raptors, haven't won the title alongside Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
I said Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard at the Raptors. So I think that all of this will come to the party.
Okay.
Come to fall for Indiana Pacers because they've had guys that have done it before. So that will come key for the Pacers.
All right. How would you rank the top 12 NBA players through the 2 rounds? Who were the key players carrying their teams to the conference finals in quick seconds?
Well, I'm a guy that likes to rank players that are active. All those guys that have fallen behind. I don't think we need to talk about the likes of Jokic, who I feel has been the best player, but he's not there any longer, so there is no need talking about him. I think so far so good. The best player I've seen in this NBA playoff has to be the man from Minnesota Timberwolves. They call him Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. He has been fantastic, very, very awesome. Has been able to lead his team by example, always looking things that now by guiding Kyrie Irving, which will
all right, I don't know what's up with the network, but this is the tail end of this conversation. I wished the network would have just given us way to have this conversation fluid. Time with our friend, we have been speaking, analyzing all that is up with the NBA with a basketball commentator, head of sport with UNILAG FM, Faruk Adetola.